rallies against the group, who make up about 5% of the country's population, have been held in 14 cities this week. Desiderio Gergely is the executive director at the European Roma Rights Center, and he's joining me from Budapest. A pleasure to speak with you. Can you sort of boil this down to its bare essentials for me? What is the issue here? Why do we get these flare-ups in violence against the Roma every few months or so?
Yeah, well, the European Roma Rights Center basically is an organization which monitors Roma rights all across Europe. So what we are seeing here, in particular related to this case which took place in Bulgaria, it somehow fits into a trend, unfortunately. And if we are looking over a couple of 4 weeks ago, we had to some extent similar events taking place in the Czech Republic, and not too late ago, in 1 year or 2 years ago, we had similar incidents in Hungary. And then I could also recall 19 years old, also similar incidents in Romania. The problem here is that we are dealing to some extent with a failure of the states to seriously address minority-related issues, in particular Roma-related issues.
This is perfect. All right, so this gives us an opportunity to do a little educating here. If you're not familiar with the Roma story in Bulgaria, and as you just pointed out throughout Eastern Europe, can you explain to us who are the Roma, and why in this case is Bulgarian society and Eastern European society at odds with them?
The Roma minority has a long history in Europe, and unfortunately the history of the Roma minority is not one of fortunate, because it has been persecuted over time. It had an inferior status, and then it was most of the time kept outside of the societies, not only in Eastern Europe but also in Western European societies. So unfortunately, you know, the events in Bulgaria shows that anti-Romani sentiments can be triggered at some extent due to incidents which are connected to, like in this case, to an isolated incident which unfortunately turns out into criminalizing a whole community and blaming practically the Roma community for what is happening in an isolated incident. Of course, that it has to do with how the societies are not only perceiving the Roma minorities, but how states are addressing this community which has been long persecuted and living in poverty. Unfortunately, these events, as other events in Europe, shows that to some extent the states had not seriously addressed this idea, although you know, we have a lot of commitments from all around member states in Europe, which, you know, even though at central level they are politically committed, but then the messages are dissoluting at the local level, and nothing is happening.
Okay, all right, Desiderio Gergely is the executive director of the European Roma Rights Center, joining us from Budapest. Thanks.